Good evening and welcome. This is a regular meeting of the Princeton Planning Board on Thursday, February 5th, 2026. Pursuant to Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given by prominently posting the resolution of regularly scheduled meetings of this planning board for February 2026 through January 2027. A copy was filed with the Clerk of Princeton on January 14th, 2026. Legal notice on the adoption of said resolution was published in the January 16, 2026 edition of the Princeton Packet. Notice of this meeting also has been posted to the municipal website, princetonnj.gov/calendar. Notice that all regular and special meetings of the Princeton Planning Board will be held electronically via Zoom, was transmitted to the Princeton Packet and the Times, and was filed with the Clerk of Princeton on Tuesday, January 14, 2023, I think is the date. Is 2026 the updated new date? I'm sorry, I'm reading okay. January 14, 2026. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. During hearings on applications for development, which we don't have tonight, so I'm going to skip that paragraph. Those, well, we may take comments if people have them on the ordinances we're going to be that have been referred by council to the planning board for master plan consistency review. But this is not the hearing for those ordinances. The hearing will take place before council at its next meeting, I believe.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I just noticed Linda Schwimmer, our new member, is in the attendees. She should be brought over.
I believe she might just be observing tonight because she only found out she was on the board about 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so she may have a preference. Well, she's been brought over anyway. Hello, Linda Schwimmer, and welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Nice to be here. I just found out, so that was great news, and but I didn't get a chance to read anything, so I thought I would just observe for tonight and then start in full capacity next month.
Some of us do that from within the meeting. So.
Linda, time is so short, you probably haven't. Have you gotten the oath of office and executed that? No.
I don't think I haven't received anything yet other than a nice welcome email from Justin. So yes.
And Justin, you'll arrange for that?
Yes, I will. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that'll come probably from the clerk's office. You'll probably get it any day. And yeah, so we'll wait and administer the oral oath of office once you've received the other one. Or maybe you don't even need to wait for the other one, actually, because I just got mine for a different commission a couple of days ago. Anyway, would you prefer to stay in the panelist view here, or would you rather be in the attendees room, so to speak, or do you care?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whatever works. Yeah.
Okay, great. I think that was the end of the opening statement. When we do hear oral comments, they'll be taken in the order in which hands were raised, and we ask that people keep their comments to 3 minutes or less, and a countdown clock will appear on the screen to help you keep track of time. Inappropriate public comment containing obscenity, hate speech, or relating to matters not before the board will be muted. Justin, would you call the roll, please?
Yeah, I think.
Or Deidre. I'm sorry.
It looked like Jerry wanted to say something. Was it about Ms. Schwimmer's oath of office?
Yes, and that I think she should be an attendee at this point, rather than a member of the panel, because she's not officially a member of the board yet because she hasn't taken the oath of office and been sworn in.
Okay. See you soon, Linda. Thanks, Jerry.
Yep. And Madam Chair, I'll call the roll tonight. Deidre is out sick.
Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that.
Mr. Boddigheimer?
Present.
Councilman Cohen?
Here.
Mayor Frida, Mr. McGowan,
Here.
Ms. Nuka,
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Here.
Ms. Perlmutter,
Here.
Mr. Taylor,
Here.
Ms. Wilson Anderson,
Claudia, you're on mute.
she might be frozen.
Yes, I froze. I'm here.
Okay, okay,
Thank you.
good.
And Chair Wilson,
Here.
you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Are there any announcements tonight from staff or board members? Okay.
No, I don't believe
seeing
so.
none. On to subcommittee reports. I believe we have none of those since no committees were just appointed and none have met yet, although I understand the site plan subcommittee has a meeting coming up maybe next week. No, week after next.
That's correct. On the 19th, there'll be a meeting to review a minor site plan application.
Okay, great. Next, we have 4 sets of minutes, 3 of them old, 1 of them recent. We are catching up. The first is from October 24th, 2024. Does anyone have any suggested edits or questions about those minutes? And if not, would someone like to move them?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Cohen, seconded by...
I can second.
Owen raised his hand.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that.
I had Owen not in attendance at meeting.
Okay, seconded by Paula Vinuka. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we have minutes from November 7, 2024. Any questions or edits? And if not, would someone like to move them?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Mr. Boddingheimer and Mr. McGowan. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next up, the minutes of December 12, 2024, regular meeting. Questions, edits?
I'll move.
Thanks, Mr. O'Donnell. And who would like to second?
I can second again.
Thanks, Ms. Nuka. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, and finally, the minutes from December 18th, 2025. Edits, suggestions, motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay, second.
Moved by Mr. McGowan, seconded by Mr. Boddingheimer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next up, we have 2 ordinance referrals. The first is, well, Mr. Muller, do we need to speak to jurisdiction here
No.
at all for ordinance referrals? Okay, thank you.
No.
Ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance of the Municipality of Princeton amending Chapter B17A entitled Land Use and Zoning of the Municipality of Princeton to create the Affordable Housing District 10, AH10, in furtherance of the Fair Housing Act. Justin?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just a little preamble before we get to these 2 ordinance referrals. Like the chair just stated, they are part of our 4th round affordable housing plan. And this board will be reviewing 4th round ordinances tonight and for the next 2 meetings, as Princeton and all towns in New Jersey with 4th round requirements have a March 15th deadline to adopt all ordinances to effectuate our 4th round housing plan element and fair share plan. So ultimately, these ordinances would be adopted by the board before that March 15th deadline for this meeting and the next 2 that you're going to review. The 4th round housing plan element and fair share plan, you may remember, was adopted by this board back in June into our master plan. Excuse me. The ordinances you will see tonight and over the next 2 meetings are for rezonings and overlay districts that allow for the realistic opportunity for the construction of affordable housing on the sites that are in the fourth round housing plan element from June. With all that being said, the board's task still is the same as it's always been when you are referred these ordinances, and that task is to review the ordinances before you for consistency with the adopted master plan. Turning to the first ordinance, I'm going to summarize the memo in your packet that was written by Nathan Foote and myself, our Assistant Director, Nathan Foote. Ordinance 2026-01 was introduced at council on January 27th and is scheduled for a public hearing next Monday, February 9th. This ordinance establishes the Affordable Housing District 10, AH10, on one lot at 245-247 Nassau Street. And let me pull up the map that was included in your packet. And this map is actually from Appendix I of the fourth round housing plan element and fair share plan. So it's also online in our fourth round plan. To orient you to the site, J Cycles is adjacent in this little cutout. The site we're looking at is the one that's highlighted in red here. A Verizon building is to the west, and a multifamily apartment building is to the east. And these are all in the service business SB zone. There are a mix of uses across the street, including food service businesses like Hoagie Haven and Pizza Den, with residential apartments above in the neighborhood business zone. The IVN is not technically across, but is across from the J Cycles that's right next to the property. Educational buildings owned by Princeton University are located to the south in the E3 educational zone. I think that's generally the E-Quad buildings. The lot to be rezoned is currently in the service business zone of the former borough. It is also in the AHO1 affordable housing overlay from our third round of affordable housing, as are the adjacent properties I mentioned before in the SB and NB zone. So that would stay. That would not change based on this. The property currently contains two-story professional office buildings with surface parking in front towards Nassau Street, to the side of the building, and also to the rear of the building, buildings covering most of the parcel. So this rezoning to AH10 would allow for the construction of a mixed-use and inclusionary residential building. It would permit up to 3,300 square feet of leasable commercial use on the ground floor and up to 95 multifamily residential apartments, which is slightly higher than the 90 stated in the fourth round plan. At least 20% of the residential units are required to be designated as affordable housing, with no less than 18 affordable units. These would count towards our designated affordable housing unit number required by the state in the fourth round. Some of the bulk standards in this rezoning include a maximum height of 5 stories and 65 feet, a maximum impervious coverage of 90%, 0.75 parking spaces required for each residential unit, and there's specific signage allowed that allows for 4 signs, a mix of monument and facade ones for the business, the apartment, and just the site overall. A concept plan was actually included in Appendix I of the fourth round plan immediately after what I just showed. It's sideways right now if you wanted to see it, with Nassau Street being on the bottom. And the zoning is based on this concept plan, again, to create that realistic opportunity for affordable housing as required by the fourth round. And this concept plan was included in your packets and is also publicly available on the municipal website in the packets and in the fourth round plan. It is our opinion, Nathan and mine, that the ordinance is substantially consistent with the master plan. This may not be a shock as it was included in the housing element, like I stated earlier, which is within the master plan. However, we also noted that this rezoning meets many of the other goals of the master plan, such as the general need for more housing in Princeton at lower price points and in a variety of types. So not just the trend that was identified in the master plan of a growing number or percentage of 5 and 6 bedroom single family homes. It also meets a land use goal of the plan to enhance the existing pattern of land use and mixed use areas in town, like Nassau Street. Mobility goals include reducing inbound commuting by adding additional housing where jobs are located, and encouraging a shift from single occupancy car travel to other low or zero emissions options like walking, biking, transit. Utility and natural resource conservation goals are also met by accommodating growth on an already developed parcel rather than in a green field somewhere out on the edge of town. So that being said, Madam Chair, thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions that you or the board may have.
Okay. Thanks, Justin. Are questions from board members for Justin? I certainly agree that this is substantially consistent with the master plan. And I do just want to point out something that jumped out at me that perhaps we can keep in mind as the plan for this site is refined. And that is, there are a lot of trees right along the edge of this. And I'm actually not sure from the aerials whether they're on this property or on adjoining properties, but you know, I hope that every effort can be made to save some of those, because you know that's also an important objective of the town, and something I know a lot of us share a commitment to. So, any other thoughts that folks have? Again, any questions for Justin? I want to repeat, there are 6 people attending as attendees tonight. And while this is not the hearing on this ordinance, the hearing takes place before council. If anybody who is attending wishes to speak, ask questions, or express your opinions, you're welcome to do so. Now is the time to raise your hand. I see one person already has. Chris Sturm, can you bring Ms. Sturm over, please? And then also after Ms. Sturm, Dipali Desai.
Hi.
Okay. So even though this isn't a hearing, we place everyone under oath. So
Okay.
Jerry, would you do the honors?
You could raise your right hand. If you could swear or affirm, do you swear or affirm that testimony about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
So sworn or affirmed. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for your service to Princeton. I'm Chris Sturm. I've lived in Princeton for about 26 years, and I love it. I'm also a volunteer with Princeton Grows, which is a small group that is helping Princeton grow sustainably and inclusively. And I think you'll also hear from Dipali Desai from the same organization. I really appreciated, Justin, your memo and your summary of why this is consistent with the master plan. I walked around and checked it out. I saw the trees. They're really important. There's one huge one which might have to go, but I appreciate the planning board prioritizing those. For all the reasons that you stated, I think this is a great project. It's a great place. It would be a great place to live. I don't understand site plans enough to know if you will achieve the streetscape feeling with a little bit of openness between the sidewalk and the front door that the concept plan shows. You probably will. I just raised that as something that I think is something that is important, and I'm sure you all know what you're doing. And I think the most important concept is that I'm delighted, speaking for myself and also for Princeton Grows, that the planning board is moving forward in a timely fashion to approve these ordinances, which are required by law to ensure that Princeton is indeed playing its statutorily required role to create the opportunity for affordable housing. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we bring over Dipali Desai now, please. Thanks again, Chris. Dipali, if you could activate your camera and unmute yourself, that'd be great. And then
Sorry
Mr.
about that.
Munger, our attorney, will swear you in.
If you could raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
So sworn or affirmed.
Thanks. Go right ahead.
Thank you, everyone. I am also a resident of Princeton. I have been a resident of Princeton for about 10 years, and I am a volunteer with Princeton Grows, just like Chris. I support everything she said, and for all the reasons Justin gave. The only thing I'd like to add is I also support this not only because it supports the master plan, but also I think it makes Princeton future ready. I have two children who are near adults, and I would really like to see a town that serves future generations. So this is in accordance to that, and I really do appreciate it. And so thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other members of the public wish to address the board? I'm seeing no other hands go up. So with that, I will close the public comment and invite any other comments or questions or a motion from a board member. The motion being, I believe, that we would find the ordinance to be substantially consistent with the master plan and maybe make a reference to the importance of, to the extent possible, protecting the trees that are on the site and keeping in mind the streetscape matter that Ms. Sturm mentioned. Pallavi?
I just had a quick question. I think the memo from Justin and Nathan mentioned that no landscaping buffer is required under this particular zoning category. And I just want to clarify, does that, well, it's not required, is that something that's going to affect the streetscape as we were discussing, as well as shade tree placement and things like that?
Mm-hmm. I'm happy to address that. So we require a landscape buffer from parking lots, generally when we talk about landscape buffers. And this one, because all the parking will be essentially within the building, there's no requirement that they have to do that sort of buffer. There still are requirements for a rear yard buffer of 10 feet. And I believe there's a small one in the front yard too. So there will be some area where they can have green space in addition to on top of the roof or on a in the concept they show a second story kind of patio area too.
Just to clarify, Justin, when you say a little bit in the front yard, you're talking between the front of the building and Jay's Cycles? Because I don't think there's a requirement for a buffer on the street, right?
That's correct. Yeah, there's a 5-foot buffer between Jay's Cycles and this one at 0 foot for the other little area that's in front of where we expect there to be a commercial space.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that clarification. Other questions or comments? And if not, would someone like to make a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Freddie. And a second?
A second.
Thanks, Owen. And this motion is I described it with the references to the trees and to the streetscape. Okay, great. Thank you. Justin, would you call a roll, please?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Mr. Boddingheimer?
Yes.
Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Ms. Nuka,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Ms. Perlmutter,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson Anderson,
Yes.
and Chair Wilson.
Yes,
Recommendation passes.
thank you. Next up is ordinance 2026-02. This is an ordinance of the Municipality of Princeton, amending ordinance 2025-15, creating the Affordable Housing District 14, AH 14 of Chapter 10, T10B, entitled Land Use of the Municipality of Princeton. Justin?
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair. The next ordinance is slightly different, though it is related to our fourth round plan. Ordinance 2026-02 was introduced at Council on January 27th and is scheduled for a public hearing on Monday as well. It relates to the AH 14 district at 29 Thanet Road. You may remember back in September that the board reviewed this ordinance, which allowed for up to 85 stacked townhouse units in a new zone on that site. The board found that ordinance to be substantially consistent with the master plan, and the council approved it a few days later in September. While crafting other ordinances, staff noticed that two of the legal sections at the end of that ordinance do not really do what we want them to do. They actually kind of do the opposite, which is what's currently on the books. And I know we have at least 3 people with law degrees on this board, plus Mr. Mueller, so I'm going to strap in real quick for this one. But the original language of the interpretation section of that original ordinance unintentionally stated that for any conflicts between that ordinance and any other sections of our municipal code, the more restrictive requirement would apply. This ordinance, the proposed one in front of you, would change that to say if the terms of this ordinance shall be in conflict with those of another ordinance, the provision of this ordinance shall control. And the reason for this is we're crafting these ordinances to reflect what is in our fourth round plan, as is required by the state, to allow for the realistic opportunity for the construction of affordable housing. So we would not want there to be something more strict somewhere in our code that prevents what we are looking to accomplish from happening. This new language, the one that would you would approve or the council would approve in this ordinance, was what was included in the interpretation section of the ordinance that you just reviewed. And it will be included in all of the fourth round ordinances you review for the next month. So basically, we caught the issue in the first one out of the gate, and we're correcting it for that first one out of the gate, but then we're changing it for the next 11 or so. The second change that this proposed ordinance makes is to repeal the repealer section of the ordinance that was approved in September. As adopted, the repealer section states all ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent with this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent of such inconsistency only. So one way of thinking about this is thinking back to the last ordinance that we just discussed, where I said that the signage allowed was unique to that site. We want that to stand for itself in that zone. We would not want there to be any concern that now suddenly we have to repeal other parts of our signage ordinance that applies throughout the town. So, where there was an inconsistency. So the removal of this repealer section was also changed in that ordinance you just reviewed and will be reflected in the future ordinances. And Nathan and I feel that this ordinance, changing that ordinance, is consistent with the master plan. All of the reasons that the ordinance was found consistent in September for the 85 townhomes still apply, as well as other master plan goals, such as removing barriers to additional to adding residential units and streamlining and just frankly making more sense of our code would apply. So once again, Madam Chair, thank you. I'm happy to take any questions. If that got confusing, please say it and I'll try to explain it a different way too.
I understood everything that you said, and also I'm really glad that I don't have to explain it back to you or turn around and explain it to an intelligent 8-year-old, which is the standard I try to live by.
Yeah.
Are there questions for Justin from board members? Pallavi?
Okay, hopefully this is a quick question. For that new section 7, is that referring to all existing and prior ordinances? I mean, what about ordinances that may be passed in the future?
We're going to correct it before they get introduced for the future one. So the language is going to be the same.
Okay. So
For these affordable housing ones.
Exactly. For these,
okay.
yeah.
So you don't need the word prior in that sentence anywhere to refer to.
Let me just double check.
I mean, it's not going to conflict if some point 20 years in the future, some future planning board decides they need to do something. It's not going to impact it at all.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. That's all. That's my question.
Yeah. The ordinance that we're modifying right now, or that created that, it only created that one zone.
Okay.
So we're making that correction now, and then the mistake's not going to be there in the future.
Got it.
Okay. Thanks, Ms. Nuka. Any other questions from board members or comments? If any member of the public would like to address the board on this ordinance, now is the time to raise your hand virtually. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands go up, so I'm closing off the public comment and inviting any last thoughts or questions about this or a motion.
I mean, this is just essential cleanup and
Yeah. Yes, it's very.
The idea that you've adopted an ordinance, but if there's something else out there in the code which is more restrictive, that governs. You should not have adopted that provision in the new ordinance to begin with.
We're
Then
fixing.
it's also an inconsistency. Okay, if you have something out there that's more restrictive, that governs. But if you have something that's inconsistent with the ordinance, the inconsistency is eliminated because that section of the broader code is eliminated. I mean, they're too inconsistent with each other also. Yeah, none of it makes sense. So this is just
Just don't ask who wrote this.
Says the lawyer.
to begin with. We don't want to embarrass anybody.
Who would like to move?
I can make a motion, or Jack.
After deep legal review, may I move that we accept the ordinance as complete.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor, and seconded by Ms. Nuka. Is that right? Okay. Thank you. Justin, would you call the roll, please?
Sure. And just to be clear, this would be finding the ordinance consistent with the master plan and recommending approval?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great.
Substantially consistent. Right?
Substantially consistent. Mr. Boddingheimer?
Yes.
Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Ms. Nuka?
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Ms. Perlmutter?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson Anderson?
Yes.
And Chair Wilson?
Yes.
Recommendation carries.
Well, thanks, everyone. That is that's everything that's on the agenda, and we next meet on February 19th, and the Olympics start tomorrow.
Hooray.
Mr. Cohen?
I move to adjourn. I need to get ready for the Olympics.
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Appreciate the efficiency tonight, and see you in a couple of weeks, if not before.
Night.
And then Justin, I'll talk to you tomorrow, right?
Okay. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Everyone.